The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good morning, I am Vivek Nakra and these are your morning headlines. The BC Wildfire Service says its crew continuing to battle the Parker Lake wildfire in Fort Nelson. He also says that fire is expected to grow due to less expectations of rain in the coming days. A former BC Forest Minister says the province needs a comprehensive strategy to control the worsening wildfires. According to the BC Conservative Officer Service, a bear that attacked a woman on a trail in Squamish will not be captured. The woman was walking with her dog along the trail when she noticed bear cubs that charged her and ran off. During the investigation, conservative officers did an assessment on the attack site and interviews with the victim. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, number of home sales in April increased by 10% compared with last year. The association says that there are more properties to choose from in the spring, but on the other side, demand is very less. A broker from Royal LePage Team Realty, Jason Ralph, talks about the scenario of the market conditions.
There are some buyers on the sidelines waiting for that positive news release with the interest rate drops. But I'm seeing more buyers come out of the woodworks. It's typical of the spring.
A Superior Court judge in Quebec has declined McGill's University request to dismantle the pro-Palestinian encampment on its downtown Montreal campus. Lawyers has asked the court to order the protesters to stop occupying its grounds on Monday, and also to authorize Montreal police to assist the school in dismantling the equipment. Ontario's progressive Conservative government is set to introduce a new legislation. It would impose stiffer penalties on convicted drivers under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Pramit Sarkaria, Transportation Minister, says that the new measures are intended to keep people safe on the roads.
When you get in the car under the influence, you're rolling a weighted dice. Victims of impaired drivings are mothers, brothers, sons, and daughters. Too many lives have been turned upside down by the reckless and selfish actions of someone else.
Crews in Alberta continues to battle a wildfire threatening the southern end of Fort McMurray. About 6,000 people have been ordered out of neighborhood as the fire moved within the boundary of the city. Slovakia's Prime Minister has been attacked at a political event this morning. He has been shot and was immediately taken to the hospital. Tom Rivers from ABC News talks about the incident that took place this morning.
Robert Fico, the country's populist leader, has been wounded and taken to the hospital. Reports on TA3, a Slovakian TV station, say the 59-year-old was hit in the stomach after 4 shots were fired outside the House of Culture in the town of Handlova, some 90 miles northeast of the capital, where he was meeting with supporters. A suspect has been detained. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
The son-in-law of prominent Venezuelan opposition leader has pleaded guilty to money laundering charges. Fernando Wittef admitted of earning $4 million from a Spanish real estate company and financial institution in Europe. He also used to launder money on behalf of several Venezuelan government insiders. US President Joe Biden and Donald Trump agreed to hold 2 debates before November's election. The first one will be in June and the next one will be in September. Saga Meghani from Washington talks about more debate.
In a social media post, the president says Trump lost both their debates 4 years ago and hasn't shown up for one since.
Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice.
Trump responded he's ready and willing to debate at 2 proposed times in June and September before early voting starts, after challenging the president last month. The president says he will not take part in debates sponsored by the nonpartisan commission that's organized them for decades and is instead proposing media organizations directly organize the debates. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Today's weather is pleasant with a high of 18 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. The temperature is expected to drop to 11 degrees by the evening. There are some chances of rain on Thursday, so don't forget your umbrellas. That was your news updates to 10:30. I am Vivek Nakra and you are listening to BCIT The Crow.
British Columbia Institute of Technology.
This is sports on 1680 The Crow.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zach Arabko, and here's your sports updates to 10:40 a.m. Vancouver Canucks lost Game 4 to the Edmonton Oilers in a 3-2 defeat. A last-minute goal by Evan Bouchard propelled the Oilers to victory just 62 seconds after Dakota Joshua tied the game at 2. Canucks coach Rick Tocchet showed frustration after the game. He called out players for their poor performance.
We've been a resilient group all year, but we need 5 or 6 guys to get going here. I mean, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. With some guys, I don't know if they thought it was the playoffs. So we can't play with 12 guys. So we got to figure it out quick. It's 2-2. Obviously, it's a tough one.
Like Tocchet said, after 4 games, the series is split at 2 games apiece. Game 5 will be played on Thursday. In other NHL news, the Boston Bruins kept their season alive with a 2-1 victory over the Florida Panthers. Charlie McAvoy scored the go-ahead goal to stave off elimination. Bruins goaltender Jeremy Swayman stopped 28 of 29 shots in the win, and he credits his teammates for exceptional play.
I'm just so proud of the guys in front of me, the way that they battled, played the systems well, communication, everything, and it showed tonight. We had an edge, and we weren't taking no for an answer.
The Panthers still lead the series 3-2. Game 6 will be played on Friday. The Chicago Blackhawks are being sued for breach of contract, fraud, and sexual harassment. The woman behind the suit alleges that a man involved with the Blackhawks organization inappropriately touched her and provided unwanted sexual advances. The Blackhawks have received multiple allegations of sexual assault following Kyle Beach's lawsuit against the team in 2021. Moving to basketball, the NBA playoff slate had 2 games last night. The New York Knicks defeated the Indianapolis Pacers 121-91 to take a 3-2 lead in their series. Jalen Brunson led the way with 44 points for the Knicks. And the Denver Nuggets defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 112-97 to take a 3-2 lead in their series. Reigning MVP Nikola Jokic scored 40 points in the victory. Brooklyn Nets announced today that Vince Carter's number 15 jersey will be retired next season. Carter played in Brooklyn from 2004 to 2009 after being traded from the Toronto Raptors. He is also getting inducted to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in October 2024. Caitlin Clark made her heavily anticipated debut for the Indiana Fever last night in a 92-71 loss to the Connecticut Sun. Clark did not record her first points until 15 minutes into the game. Despite a poor performance highlighted by 10 turnovers, Clark scored 20 points.
Some uncharacteristic stuff, like I pick up the ball and travel, I dribble off my foot, I pass it on the inbound, I turn it over. So just a few things that are just, you have to be crisper. Like those are situations where, you're just giving the other team the ball.
Clark became a household name during her collegiate basketball career with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She was drafted first overall in the 2024 WNBA draft, following back-to-back Player of the Year awards. Pivoting to the ballpark, Houston Astros pitcher Ronel Blanco was ejected from their game against Oakland Athletics yesterday. Umpires detected a banned substance commonly known as sticky stuff on Blanco's glove prior to the 4th inning. Ejections because of illegal substances typically lead to a suspension. Blanco has not yet received punishment. And finally, former NFL coach John Gruden's wrongful termination lawsuit has dealt with another setback. Gethin Kuhlbach from the Associated Press has more information.
Former NFL coach John Gruden has lost a Nevada Supreme Court ruling in a contract interference and conspiracy lawsuit he filed against the league after he resigned from the Las Vegas Raiders in 2021. Gruden's lawyer said Tuesday he will appeal. A 3-justice panel split 2-1, saying the league can force the civil case out of state court and into private arbitration that might be overseen by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Gruden's lawsuit accuses the league of forcing him into resigning from the Raiders by leaking racist, sexist, and homophobic emails that he sent years earlier when he was an analyst at ESPN. I'm Gethin Kuhlbach.
This concludes your sports update to 10:40 a.m. My name is Zach Arabko, and you've been listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.